Fortunately, there is a nice little breeze, and the spot that I'm sitting, because there were other projects I could have done, but the spot that I'm sitting in is in the shade, which makes it very nice. So being in the shade with a little breeze is more than pretty tolerable. When you go out, because I was pulling a few weeds earlier and I was like, ooh, this is a little toastier than I'm willing to do right now. And then I realized I probably had enough time to get at least one basket made. And you do have to expect that your fingers will get shredded doing this. People would say, well, why don't you wear gloves? You need the manual dexterity. It's like when you're doing jewelry work, there's times when you can wear gloves, at least the nitrile ones or something like that, to protect you from chemicals. But manual dexterity becomes a big thing. And if I was working with large pieces of this stuff, like if I was actually rolling out fencing like this, I would be wearing a long sleeve jacket probably, even if it was hot, and gloves, because you can really shred you. So if I still have a, you can just barely see it right there. It's what we call a fence bite. It means that a piece of this stuff sprang back, sprung, and bit me. And that just, it stabs you, and you wind up with, you usually bleed really good, let's put it that way. And especially if you're sweating and stuff like that, it makes it look like it's a lot worse than it is. It's really not usually that horrible an injury, it's just a nasty scratch. You have to be careful it doesn't get infected. Yeah, just one of those annoying things that you do. So, I am trying to get this taken care of. It's almost good enough. How's that for an answer? Almost good enough. I'm just trying to get this wrapped tightly enough. And I just dropped the other wire, which I'll find in the, oh, there it is. Woo-hoo. I'm shocked. Usually, because it's black wire, you know, it sort of disappears. I'm not going to do anything fancy here. I'm literally just going to sort of cobble this together in a very non-fancy way. But this will keep the roots from getting chewed from the bottom at least. And there we are. If I was super worried about this, I could put a lid on and let the plants grow up through the holes, especially if I was willing to put on a lid that was made out of chicken wire. But I'm going to say that this is good enough. And I'm going to try and get this into the hole here and situate it. Now, one of the things that is kind of a pain is that sometimes you wind up with a little bit of the wire sticking above the ground. I don't usually worry about it. You do have to be careful when you're gardening that you don't shred yourself on it, because just like you can get a fence bite when you're dealing with a piece of the stuff that goes spraying, you can also get a nice gouge. I can see I've got a spot on my knuckle there that I chipped a little bit. There we go. That's pretty good. And there we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. Then I'm going to put 2 roots in here. This one I'm going to put it here on one end, and I'm going to kind of put one on each end of this box. Put some dirt down first. This is moderately sandy dirt, just the way it is. I will add more. Trying to get all these little roots out. I cleared out some weeds that are in here that spread by roots. So, yep. I'm going to put 2 of these in here. And I'm almost tempted to put 3. Yeah, I think I'll do 3. Okay. I'm just going to cover these guys up, and I'm going to water them well, and I'm going to cross my fingers. Sometimes that's all you can do, especially when you're dealing with a plant that really wasn't designed for this environment. But they really are beautiful, so I hope they do make it. It would be very neat if they did. So we'll get this in. I've got stakes for holding the irrigation in place. Can't hardly see my trowel. There it is. It's underneath my feet. Good place for it. Okay. I am, like I say, going back in and making sure that I get all these little pieces of roots out of here. This whole section here, oh dear. That is a piece of chrysanthemum. Stuff him in over here. I hope he makes it. The chrysanthemum do spread to some extent by roots. And these chrysanthemum plants are actually pretty old. Oof, I'm trying to think how old. Here's some more of those annoying roots. Throw them out there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is try not to get too many muddy hand plants on the wall. And just scrape this back in here. Fill in the whole area. And then I'm going to cover it with some mulch that I have. That will help to keep it moist and improve the chances that these poor things will make it. There we go, more weeds. These, I'm not thinking of yarrow, that's what this is. It came in as a volunteer with a plant that I bought at a big box store. And it is a plague. I know that there's people who grow yarrow. Usually people are growing the colored yarrow. This is a white yarrow. It is very pretty, but it can literally suffocate everything. At least our environment can, because you have to water everything, and yeah, it'll just take over the planet. Now, it smells great. It has a lovely sort of herbaceous smell to the leaves. So that's cool, but yeah, that was a little mistake I made there. I was just thrilled to get a free plant. Not all free plants are created equal. Okay, so there we go. Not beauteous. I'll throw that out there so it dies. I am running low on this. Last time we went shopping, we didn't have it. So that happens every spring here. It used to happen even before COVID. Now that COVID has happened, yeah, there's always another excuse for them to have bad service. So anyway, put a fairly thick coat of this on here. Cross my fingers. There we go. And I'm going to sure that this irrigation here works. These are existing irrigation lines left over from last year. I ripped out the ones that were totally chomped by rodents last year. I am going to pen these so that they are focused on the area where the plants are rather than all over the rest of the bed. And yeah, there we go. One more hit, I think. When the soil is real soft, sometimes you have to try to manhandle things to make it work right. There. Okay. And that's going to be it. That's all I'm going to do here except for water. I am going to double check this irrigation line to make sure that I'm not wasting water over there somewhere. But I want to make sure that this gets watered. I will run this particular line extra today. Probably bring in a watering can of water just to make sure. The soil here is moderately damp because we've had rain twice in the last week. The previous rain we had the fancy rain, electronic rain gauge said we had 1/4 inch of rain. But the old-fashioned cup that you get, that's just, you know, it collects water, said 4/10 of an inch. Well, that's a big difference, kids. And based on what I saw here, I think the 4/10 of an inch was more accurate. But at any rate, yeah, it's a try. It's a try. I have more to do here, but that'll have to wait for later. But at least I've got 3 of them in here. I think I have a total of 10. My goal is to get a couple more boxes, probably another box in there. And then there's an armored bed on the other side that I can also use that won't require boxes. But if you have a problem with critters tunneling up underneath, you can build boxes to keep root structure from getting munched. Is it annoying? Yeah, I'd rather not have to do it, but I'd also prefer to have my plants survive. So sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. I knew about such a thing as boxes for a very long time. I'd seen them used for expensive bulbs in fancy catalogs, but never had to use them until I moved here. So it is what it is. So I hope you find this sort of interesting. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because obviously I'll be doing tons more. I have a zillion things to get done in the next 3 weeks. And some of them are probably even going to happen. But yeah, we will mush on and see what does happen. So until next time, bye. Oh, and don't forget to keep brainstorming because obviously I am. By the way, is my fencing belt. When I'm really doing fencing, that's what I wear. Very attractive, but also very effective.